to the world. Subscribe now to the Hot 97 YouTube channel. It's Ebro in the Morning with Laura Stiles and Rosenberg.
It's Ebro in the Morning. I got my brothers Morgan Heritage here. Give it up for him one time. Morgan Heritage, new album. Y'all want to intro the new album?
Yeah, man.
The Homeland, you know. We're here in New York City, where we were born, in Brooklyn, talking about the Homeland with you.
So is the album about Brooklyn? Is the album about Jamaica? Or is the album about Africa?
Well, it's about Jamaica. It's about Jamaica and Africa. It's building the bridge, and for a long time, we've always been talking about this conversation since we bumped into each other in Accra with the year of return.
That's right.
So Morgan Heritage. Before that, we've been on game.
That's right.
Like from 20 years ago, growing up in the 12 tribe of Israel and always talking about moving back to Africa, the black movement and being black conscious. So within the music now, after making so many connections with the artists in Africa, we was like, yo, let's do a project. So every time we go into a different country, we say, yo, who's the guy here? Who's the girl here?
Yeah.
And make that connection. People with Diamond Platinum, Shatta Wale, Stonebwoy,
Yusu Indoor, Alpha Blonde,
Eddie
Manny Kuti, the Kuti family, the grandson of Fela Kuti, Femi's son.
Yeah, so it's just a life work of all these different relationships, and then doing stuff with people that we always do stuff with Shaggy. So every project we do, Shaggy's on there. We got Popcorn on there, which is from St. Thomas that we never worked with before. Beanie Man. So it's just bringing everybody together, because nothing like this hasn't been done together with this kind of project and this projection since Paul Simon. You remember the album Graceland? That's right. So this is our Graceland,
I love that.
Yeah,
so musically, should people expect the same things? Big backgrounds, big songs, lots of love. Like what musically should people be hearing in this album?
Well, musically, as a body of work, it's an Afrofusion album, right, at its finest, because we incorporate the sounds of Africa with the sounds of Jamaica, the Caribbean, and the diaspora.
Which is all related.
All related. It's everything. Because for us, right, Ebro, everything outside of Africa that's black, the root of it is Africa.
That's right.
Yes, so it's about making sure we activate that within our DNA. That's what this album does for you. When you hear it, you start moving different. You start feeling different because of the drum pattern and the music and the instrumentation, the melodies and all of that. So when you talk about a song like the new video for You Got to See the World featuring Eddie Kenzo from Uganda, and then a rising star, S. Villa from South Africa, fusing bongo flavor with Afrobeats, and amapiano and all these different styles, from the Baifal singing in Senegal to the Sebin guitars from the Congo. It's African music at its finest.
Do you feel a difference? You guys have been performing in Africa since y'all was. your father was there. The whole family been going there for a long time. Do you feel a difference?
Oh, big time. You're discovering a lot of new artists, and one of the biggest difference back then, it was like when you listen to Fela Kuti and Miriam Makeba, you felt the jazz influence, right? You found out this is where jazz kind of birthed from, and into New Orleans, into the South. But now what you feel is like the dancehall reggae babies, like when you look at
when you look at Burna and all them, and Stonebwoy and Shatta Wale, all those. They Stonebwoy considers himself a dancehall artist.
That's
he is.
He calls it
Afro
dancehall artist. Like when they came in the game, they was like, we're doing dancehall, because they was hearing what was coming from Jamaica.
True.
So we look at them and it's like, these are our babies, and now they've found a way. It's like the music from the Caribbean found a way to reinvent itself and rebirth itself in Africa, and now they just pushed out Burna Boy, and it's this whole new thing, and it's like, whoa,
well,
this is one of our babies.
Isn't it beautiful how you think of the journey of black people to the Caribbean that brought the sounds from Africa to the Caribbean in the first place.
True. Exactly.
And then for you to say, and then it reciprocated itself and went back
sir.
through the music, and then it's coming back again.
Wicked.
Well, and that's something that, our ancestors probably knew that was
design.
Design. That was by design.
Divine design.
But now we have platforms and mainstream music that we never had before. You look generations past, so that we get to curate this as black folks.
True.
And take care of this. And take care of this story.
Yes.
Which I think is very beautiful.
Yes.
Yeah, man, and it's important too, because like you said, we didn't have these platforms growing up. Like before, we was talking about growing up playing football and all this stuff and stuff. And what we can do now, and how we can get to the minds of the young blacks in the world, we had to go search for that when we was growing up.
That's right.
Now you can get it to them directly.
That's right.
You know, it makes it a lot easier to penetrate the hearts and the minds of the young generation.
Yeah, when your ancestors used to say, yo, your people, they out there.
Yes.
Remember your aunts and everybody, grandma and them, you'd be like, yo, no, your people out there, they're going to know you when they see you.
True.
Right.
They'll know you when they see you. As a kid, you're like, what do
You couldn't understand.
Yeah. I remember even, Ebro, you hear people talk about, like, everyone has a twin in the world.
Right.
And I see that more within the Black Koreans. You know, he's like, yo, that guy look like
That's
Ebro.
my uncle.
Yeah,
Go Ebro over there.
Yeah. So it's a thing where the black nation is getting conscious. And, you know, since Wakanda, I think Wakanda kind of triggered it even again within pop culture.
Yeah.
So, you know, when Wakanda came out, everybody was wearing a dashiki to the movies.
Yeah.
And we just came from Guyana. On the Homeland tour, we made a stop in Guyana, and they were celebrating their Emancipation Day. And it was a thing where it was just to see everybody dressed up like they were in Africa. Even Stonebwoy was on that show and was like, man, I feel like I'm in Africa. So it just shows you that the identity of black people, there's an awakening happening in the earth.
For sure.
You know, hence, you know, where we are in our career now. When people listen to this album, it's not your traditional Morgan Heritage album.
Right.
It's like, yo, they went there. We said, if we're going to do a African thing, we're gonna like Mojo met up with this kid
Jusa from
the
Zimbabwe.
Dementia, and this kid just
mentor.
has all the different sounds of Africa. So a lot of people think that all the music that's coming out of Africa is Afrobeat.
No.
And that's not true. You know that. Yeah. You know, you have Amapiano, you have bongo, you have all these different genres of African
But even just
music.
hip hop, R&B, dancehall,
Exactly.
like all of the other
All
things
of that.
all been
Yep.
incorporated.
Yep.
You
It's
know what I
all
mean?
there.
Because Afrobeats itself is a potpourri of influence. It's coming from the root of the jazz and the R&B influence from Afrobeat singular to Afrobeats plural that now started to incorporate hip hop, R&B, as well as reggae and dancehall.
And some of the earliest records that was playing here in New York, right? Many people felt that were Caribbean that it sounded like soca.
True word.
Right? And they thought, and it does.
It does.
True word.
And by the way, as it should.
Yes,
because
sir.
what is soca from?
Yes,
right?
sir.
And so there was an instant familiarity, which is the blessing of where we got today.
Yeah, man.
It's because there was something familiar that people may not know the song or the origin of the song, but they know that the root is Africa.
For
right?
sure.
Exactly.
Or they think the root is the Caribbean, but they find out it's African. It all makes sense.
For sure.
Because many of us have been programmed, you know, to believe that our geography is somehow more important than our connective tissue as black people.
Yes,
or our
sir.
flag is more important than our connective
Correct.
tissue. And that's kind of, or our food, like, you know what I mean? Like, even when, you know, I get into it with Dominicans all the time because they act like Haitians ain't they cousins.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's like, nah, bro, y'all on the same island,
Yes.
same
Ain't that something?
story.
Right.
Your
Ain't that
language
something?
might be different,
Come on.
whatever, but y'all, stop it.
Yeah.
Knock it off. You know what I mean?
It's just two different
Shit.
colonizers that decided they was going to divide up this particular piece of
That's
land.
it.
When you
That's
go
it.
to Senegal and Gambia, it's the same food, the same dialect, everything. The only thing that makes them different is that the British control one part and the French
on another.
controlled another
That's
part.
it.
Same thing in the Virgin Islands.
Yeah.
Half of the islands are US, half the islands are British. You're still family.
Or French.
Right.
The Antilles, like Saint Martin, is Saint Martin
French.
with the double A, which is the Dutch side, and then single A with an I on the French side.
Yeah.
So, you know, as black people, as children of the diaspora, we want to encourage people to travel. Gramps makes a great analogy when he says that the Chinese descendants born outside of China make a pilgrimage home. The Jewish descendants make a pilgrimage home. As Africans, we need to make it our duty to travel back to Africa.
Yeah.
You know, we ain't saying to go back and live. Let the trip do what it's going to do for
right.
you.
That's right.
Just go and visit. Like you want to visit California or visit England or visit the Caribbean, make a trip there because guess what? In Africa, you're not a black man. You're just a man.
That's right.
Facts.
Or a woman.
That's right. That's right. And you know, and I never want to hear, I heard the violence and I heard
Come
this,
on,
the
man.
poverty and
It's
whatever.
everywhere.
But you go into Mexico though, and they leave
Right.
chopped heads at the border. down
Thank
there.
you.
And you're not even blinking when
Right.
you're going down to Cancun, and them cartels got it on.
Come
they
on.
got it upside down
Right.
there.
My bro,
Sure,
we were born in
sure.
Brooklyn.
Yeah.
For those who don't know, right? Educated in Springfield, Massachusetts. So we're home in Brooklyn, having some pizza, living the Brooklyn life. And we see a man roll by, butt naked, with a T-shirt wrapped around him.
Told
That's
you.
poverty at its highest.
Facts.
But look at Michigan, places like Detroit and stuff like that.
Facts.
Like,
right out
come
here
on.
in New York City, there was a man. It was raining the other day. It was a man. He took his clothes off in the rain and took a shower just right outside,
Whoa.
Right there.
right out the studio.
Right, yes, sir.
Yes.
So poverty and violence, in essence, poverty and violence is everywhere.
Yeah.
You're not gonna escape that anywhere you
Nah.
go on this planet. And there's a
And you know,
beautiful life everywhere.
You know
go
the funny thing about it is, when you step out of that airport in Ghana or South Africa, what they propagate on the news in the Western world, that's not what's there.
That's not what's happening.
True.
That's not like people would not believe like some of these airports in America cannot compare to airports overseas.
Beautiful airports overseas.
Come on.
Wait till you go back to Ethiopia. You should see the airport in Addis Ababa
Insane.
today.
Killing.
And all their planes from their whole fleet,
Brand new.
Dreamliners.
When last
That's
you
the
been to
biggest plane. That's a
Johannesburg?
787.
Joburg, I was there a couple years ago, but that airport is, they're not playing no
But when
games.
you go into the town, you feel like you're at a mall in Germany.
Germany.
Yeah.
Or
All
somewhere in
day.
France.
All day.
We there filming the video with S Villa for You Got to See the World. And I had to take a video. I said, look at this. Guess where I
I
am?
thought it was in France.
This is Africa.
It's serious.
So,
It's
you know,
serious.
there's a lot of development happening within humanity around the world right now.
Yeah.
So it's just for us to just find our place where we belong. That's what it's all about.
And I think, you know, more of us actually going to get a passport,
True.
right? Because it's one of the American, and this isn't just black folks, this is just Americans. I think it's like 30% of the population
Don't have a passport.
No, has. 70%
Are
don't.
you joking?
70% does not.
Does not.
No. That's bad.
Wow.
So
Are you
then, but then
serious?
you understand why people are so ignorant about what's going on around the world. They don't travel.
I'll tell you a joke. So one of our boys, our co-director and creative director for the new album, The Homeland, his name is Jordan Hoagland. He said, Mojo, you guys are taking planes like you're taking taxis. You don't realize how hard it is for people to travel. And I'm like, elaborate. I don't understand. He's like, to travel within Africa, you need a visa for an African to go from one country to
Yes,
the
you do.
next.
That is
So
complicated.
us being dual citizens, whatever country the American passport can't get us in, the Jamaican passport
Jamaican
gets us in without a visa. But it's not so
for
easy.
Jamaicans now, you could travel to and from Ghana with no visa.
Yes, yes.
Oh, there's
a lot
several
of-
countries.
several
Kenya
countries.
is like that.
Yeah.
Kenya's like that too.
Uganda.
Nigeria, you don't need to do nothing but an online application. Where
South-
Americans, we
South
got to send
Africa.
our passport to the actual Nigerian embassy.
Right. So do your research if you want to.
Yes,
100%.
sir. Yes,
For
sir.
sure. And it's not as expensive as you think.
No.
Definitely.
And I know there's the other part with Black Americans too. You know, and I think it's mostly Black Americans, but I'm quite sure it plagues a lot of us, which is we don't like to travel somewhere unless we know somebody on the other side.
Right.
True.
We ain't, you know, but that's an American phenomenon, right? Because here in America,
that's-
you
Americans
yo,
don't travel,
but
nah.
where you live?
But that's the
I don't know
difference
if I'm
with.
coming over there, B. I don't, you know what I'm saying?
But
like,
that's the
you live
difference
in
with-
where, Alabama? I
Right.
don't know, bro. I don't know.
But that's the difference with black people and white people. Like you said, we want to make sure we know somebody about us. White people take up themselves and they just go anywhere.
Explore.
They don't know nobody. Them just pack them bag and say, "Oh, I'm going backpacking."
Yeah.
Going to
Yeah.
the middle of the jungle.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody
Going on
gonna
a
bother
safari.
me. No, but that's that white privilege.
Yeah.
They used to not being bothered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They used to not being bothered.
We need to take a page out of their book.
Yeah. We need that. We need that. Listen, let's play some tunes off Homeland. What should we play?
Let's get into You Got to See the World, featuring Eddie Kenzo and S
Latest
Villa.
single.
Let's
yeah,
do it.
the latest one.
Let's
Shot
do
up
it.
to 1 million views on YouTube in like 15 hours. We ain't did that since Hallelujah with Diamond Platinum, so it's a good
That
feeling
was a
to
big
be in
record
this.
too. Hallelujah. Let's
yeah.
play that too. Diamond Platinums is big out
Oh.
here.
Yes,
That
sir.
dude is big out here, man.
Yeah, man.
Let's play both of the records. Listen, Morgan Heritage is here. Give it up for him one time. Thank you, brothers, for coming by. Get the new project, Homeland.
Thank you.
I love y'all, brothers.
Yeah,
Thanks
man.
for being patient. This is our new studio right now. It's
it's all
temporary.
good.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
This is my first interview in here.
Hey, so
Yeah,
we
so-
feel blessed.
Thank you.
Thank you for
Thank
blessing
you.
the studio.
Yes, sir.
time.
Give
And
it
you
time.
gotta
Shot.
play that it's summertime, so you gotta play Ready featuring Shatta Wale.
Yeah, Ghana, what up?
Yeah. And
do it.
Jose
What up?
Chameleon.
Yeah.
So New York.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
What up?
And your boy Bounty Killer is on Who They Like You with Stoneboy.
Oh, you got him on
and
there
Baby
too?
Sham.
Ghana and Jamaica
on.
all
Yeah.
coming
You gotta give
together.
them, there's 21 tracks, so you give them 4 and we happy.
All right, let's do it. Go get Homeland.
Bop, bop.
Morgan Heritage.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.